guys, my name is Bridget and today we are going to be talking about Progeny of Gods by Geoffrey. And if you watched any of my June Direct-thon and Biennial Bibliothon videos, you know that I read this during that week because I mentioned it in like every video. So this book, let's talk about it now. It's about a boy named Grayson who has green eyes, and no one else really has green eyes anywhere in his town, so he's bullied about it, and his dad tells him that he should go become a royal guard, and he's recommended him sort of for that position. And he's taken with his best friend Tay to go to be a royal guard for the king. So on his first day, training sort of to be a royal guard, like royal guard sort of duties, they follow this ship and it is headed to this tree, which is where Sticula, this horrible monster, was imprisoned. And then something happens so that Sticula is let out. And then Tay and Grayson both have to go and save the world from this horrible monster. Let's start with my rating. Characters, I gave a 20 out of 20 or 1 star. Characters is definitely one of my favorite aspects of this whole story because they were so well done. Jeff does an amazing job of making such realistic characters, like you can see the differences between them and you get to see the dynamic between them and other characters, and you really get to know the characters and their personalities and how they interact with others, and none of their relationships ever seem really rushed, which is good because some books it's like suddenly we're best friends, but this one you really got to see why they were best friends suddenly and like what got them together and sort of like why they feel that way with each other. Like nothing went too quickly. You also understand why people are doing certain things because it's all explained. You learn along with Grayson, who's the main character, what is actually going on with this world, and we're just as confused as he is, and he's figuring things out, and while he figures stuff out, we're figuring stuff out with him, which is really great. Plot, I gave a 16 out of 20 or 3/4 of a star. The plot was very unique and interesting. There is a comparison from this book to Star Wars, and I haven't seen Star Wars. I know, I need to see it. I'm planning on seeing it by the end of this year, so I will be watching Star Wars, don't worry. But from what I know about Star Wars, it has a very similar feel to it. It was very well done, but there was only one little thing that I had sort of a complaint about. It wasn't necessarily a complaint, but I was just sort of about it, is that in the beginning, you're told that there are barely any people with green eyes. Like, green eyes is really rare. And then suddenly, you meet all these green-eyed people, and it seems like everyone we know has green eyes. I mean, there's the king, Kyra, however you want to say her name, I don't know, Sam's dad, Nash, all the prisoners, just everyone seemed to have green eyes. And I was like, what? Isn't it rare? I don't know, that could be like a plot thing. We just didn't see any of the brown-eyed people, and we didn't see like the ratio of brown-eyed people to green-eyed people. That just sort of irked me, that I was like, wait, what? Look at all these green-eyed people, like everyone we're meeting, green-eyed person, green-eyed person, green-eyed person. It was like, what? You understood it was rare, but you're meeting all these people with green eyes, so it didn't seem as rare as it was supposed to be. Setting, I gave an 18 out of 20 or 1 star. The book was very imaginable in the way that you could picture everything that was going on as it was going on very clearly in your head because they were so well described. There were a few scenes that I couldn't picture that well. It wasn't because Jeff was describing it poorly, it was just because I couldn't picture it with my mind. Like, I was trying to figure it out, but I couldn't really understand what was going on. Maybe if I read it again I would, but just some of the scenes didn't really click in my head. But other than that, the descriptions were perfect, so you could clearly see what was going on with everything. Writing, I gave a 17 out of 20 or 3/4 of a star. The writing, as I said before, was really good at painting the picture of everything that was going on, so you could see in your mind what was happening. The writing style really fit with the story and how you would imagine the story to be told, so it flowed really well, and it pieced everything together really well. And then enjoyment, I gave a 17 out of 20 or 3/4 of a star. I really enjoyed reading the story and finding out what was happening with the world and reading and getting more into it, but I did have to stop a lot because I had a lot of things going on around me, so I had to keep putting the book down, which was a real bummer because I feel like I would have liked it a lot more if I didn't have to put it down and I could just read it all at once, because it's one of those stories that it like flows really nice. So every time you pick it up, you just get right back into the world. Like, there's no need to reacquaint yourself with it. It just, you dropped back in. And I feel like I would have liked it a lot more if I just read it all at once rather than having to keep putting it down. It didn't really affect my reading experience as a whole, but other than that, I did really enjoy it. It was really good, and I feel like it could have just been improved a little bit if I read it quicker. It was just really awesome anyway, so that didn't affect my reading experience that much. Now that I finished it, where's book 2? I need book 2 to find out what happens next. So overall, I gave it an 88 out of 100, so an 88%, or a 4 1/4 stars. if this does sound interesting to you, you should definitely go check it out. It's really awesome, and I really enjoyed it, and I think you will too. This book actually does not come out until July 9th. I got an early copy of it at BookCon, and that didn't really affect my opinions at all. I just really liked this book, so don't go thinking that I liked this book just because I had to like this book. This book was sincerely liked. When it does come out, you guys should definitely go check it out. It was really great. Don't want to spoil you for anything if you haven't read this book yet. So if you haven't read it yet, go pick it up, read it, and then come back and then we can discuss it, because I really want to discuss how I felt about this book with someone, because it was really good. You're leaving if you haven't read it. Okay, bye. I really liked how we got to see Sticula's point of view and what was going on with him, and how he lost Alicula, which was like the light of his soul, like the angelic part of his soul, and we got to see what was going on with him and why he was doing all these horrible things and why he had to keep killing, and we just got to see how he didn't want to do this, but he had to so that he could get his light back. And it was just really interesting to see that part of the story, because just seeing that side of the story, because in most books you don't really get to see from the villain's perspective, and you just see like, oh yeah, they're a terrible person. But in this one, you got to see why he was doing what he was doing, so it didn't seem as bad. Like, you felt bad for him, and you understood the pain he was going through and why he was doing all these things. It made you feel more for his character, and it made you understand everything, and it made you feel bad for him because you know why he's doing all these things, but they're terrible, so he has to be stopped. But at the same time, you want him to get his light back because you want him to sort of be happy, because you understand what he's going through and all this pain. So it's just really great to see how Jeff was able to work that into the story. Sort of the comedic relief of the story was really awesome. So basically, Tay, Grayson's best friend, starts flirting with Megan, who is the secretary for the king. And their banter was the best. I loved them together. They were awesome. The whole time you're seeing their relationship, it's sort of building up, like something happening to their relationship. And one of my favorite parts was on page 220, and I'm going to read it to you guys right now, because it was the best. It was the best part. It was so awesome. So basically, Tay says that he wants to do something with Megan that night, and Megan's like, no, sorry, I've already got plans. And so she calls her friend, Sam, who is with Grayson, who is Tay's best friend, to make sure they have their plans so that she can say, hey, Tay, I've got plans with Sam, so we can't go out tonight. She goes, hi, Sam. Grayson could hear Megan's voice through the phone. We've still got our plans tonight, right? Sam opened her mouth, leaning her head back. Oh, I completely forgot. I'm kind of stuck in Cantedium right now. A very low growl came through the phone. But I'm sure we can find something to do here, she said quickly. Ugh, fine, Megan accepted. Sam looked to Grayson for approval. You want to come? Sure, he shrugged, as his stomach did a backflip. Okay, bring me a dress or something. Just then, Grayson's guard badge chimed. He leaned over to pluck it from his jacket on the floor and brought it to his mouth. Hello? Tell her to invite me, a familiar voice demanded. Tay, aren't you in the hospital? I'm out. Tell her to invite me, he stressed in a whisper. Tay wants to come, he said to Sam. Okay, you have to bring Tames with you too, she told Megan. Oh, god damn it, Megan screamed. It just, I love that part, because she's like, I'm going to get away from him. I'm going to get Sam to go out with me, and we're going to have these great plans without him. And then he calls Grayson, who's going to come, and he asks Sam if Tay can come, and she's like, yeah, you're out. Oh, I love that part so much. I love their characters together. And Sam and Grayson's relationship really progressed throughout the book, and it wasn't rushed. Like, they didn't immediately start making out and then just get together. It went slowly, and you could see how their relationship progressed, and it was really great to see that. Now I finished the book. That's basically all I want to talk about with you guys about it. I need to find out more about this darkness and more about these angels that they have, because there was that one angel that appeared when they were in the ship, the chandelier. I want to find out more about those angels. I want to find out more about the darkness. I need book 2 right now. I need to find out what happens, but I don't have book 2. I need book 2. That's all I have to talk with you guys about Progeny of Gods today. You guys should share your thoughts and feelings on this book with me down in the comments, because I really enjoyed this book and I want to discuss it with you guys because I thought it was really awesome. What was your favorite part? My favorite part was the conversation on the phone with Tay and Megan and Sam and Grayson. That was the best. My favorite part. That was awesome. Bye! And he has to compete for that position, sort of. But that's not what it's about. It's totally different. It's not competition. Ah! Okay, bye. What I have to do is thumbnail.